Happy New Year, Spartan fans, and welcome to our first 2015 edition of Center Court, Upstate Basketball Insider. I'm joined by head coach Eddie Payne. And coach, with the calendar changing over, you've now completed the non-conference portion of your schedule. Kind of size up where things are for your team as you head into conference play.
Well, we've been able to establish our style of play after we, came in with new schemes on both sides of the ball, and then players have adapted to it pretty good, but the opponents are beginning to adapt to it as well. We're seeing a lot of different types of ways to attack this matchup, so we're having to make adjustments. But all in all, it's been pretty successful for us. I think for us to continue to have success, we're going to have to rebound more consistently, a little bit more effectively. We have to guard the arc a little bit more effectively. And I think, you can always improve a lot of areas, but we need to improve our free throw percentage, I'd say 6 to 8 points to help us out there. And if we do those things, we're going to be there and have an opportunity to win.
Had an opportunity to win as you closed out the home portion of your non-conference schedule over the weekend. Let's take a look back at the highlights from the game against Hampton, the Pirates inside the Hodge Center, and then a road trip to UMKC, the University of Missouri, at Kansas City. Here's a look back at those two contests.
They had us on our heels. And then we finally settled in, started playing our kind of basketball, got the ball moving quicker so they couldn't blow our stuff up as much. So the ball was moving quicker, and we just kind of settled in.
No, we just, more than anything, we preach on that all the time. We want to get it up the floor fast, keep the ball moving, and keep the defense on their heels. When it sticks, as we say, we bounce it too much, then the offense can bog down.
Well, Hampton, they're a solid team, and with solid teams, you expect runs in them. You don't expect them just to lay down, and we knew that they were going to come out and take some shots, and we absorbed them and stretched it out a little bit. We didn't finish the half, or we didn't finish the second half kind of like we wanted to, but we talked about that in the locker room. A couple of our guys didn't do what they were supposed to do, but we're going to get that fixed, and at the end of the day, it's a win, and we're going to build off the things that we did good. And we're also going to learn from the things we didn't and get ready for Kansas City.
Yeah, we've been good. And I still think we got room for improvement, Jay. We've got some guys that are still kind of learning, and some guys that are still making some mistakes. And if we improve, we'll get even better. So it's good what we're doing, but we know as the season moves on, as we get late into the conference, there's going to be some games where we really got to do a good job defensively, buckling down to win, a game maybe in the 50s. I think we've had a very good first half of the season. That doesn't mean we don't have a lot to improve. We do. But I think overall we've had some guys do some really good things. As a team, we've done some really good things.
All right, Coach, as we said, those two games do wrap up a really one half of the season and get you ready to the part where you compete for a championship. Kind of give us the highlights, maybe the highs and the lows that you've experienced as a team so far.
Obviously beating Georgia Tech, Mississippi State, those were really good wins for us. A highlight was our Thanksgiving tournament, where we had 3 quality teams in here over 3 days at Thanksgiving. Good games, really good games, and it was a little bit of a downer that we didn't beat Wright State in our third game. Kind of an anomaly in that Ty Green did not score a field goal in that game. I feel like if he'd have made, he was like 0 for 11 from the field. The first time in his life he'd never made a shot from the field. So we feel like if he'd have made a couple shots, we'd have probably won that one, but he didn't. So that was a little bit of a downer. But all in all, it's When you're playing 5 guarantee games a year, you're gonna lose some games, and I think we're just fortunate that we won 2 of them. So, I think we've prepared ourselves and found out a lot about ourselves as we move into conference play.
10 games before you did roll the calendar over into the new year. That's the first time your team had accomplished that. And you go in with some momentum after the way you finished out the non-conference slate. We'll talk a little bit about what's coming up in the conference, what's ahead for this team on the men's basketball side in just a bit. But first, let's get to know one of the players just a little bit more as you get to know your Spartan with a feature on Michael Buchanan.
I found my way from Las Vegas to Upstate through my high school coach. He coached with Coach Perry at South Carolina State. For people that live in Las Vegas, the Strip it's something to do every once in a while, but it's not something you do all the time. As you can tell, I'm a big person, so you can tell I like to eat, and my favorite thing to cook is probably steak. I first started cooking when I was probably in middle school. My favorite chef is definitely Bobby Flay because his signature is grilling, and that's my favorite thing to do too. If I was on a cooking show, my signature meal would be a grilled steak with mashed potatoes and stuffed mushrooms. That hits the spot. My favorite Upstate team to watch is definitely the softball team because their games are so electrifying. There's always big plays happening, and they're always chanting and keeping you in the game. My biggest inspiration in life is definitely my dad. He's the one who taught me how to play, and he's given me my love and passion for the game.
It goes with .3 remaining, and the Hodge Center is going out of its mind.
Welcome back to Center Court, fans and Coach. For the first time, I get to say Happy New Year to you as you join us for the first time in 15.
Happy New Year to you too.
Your conference schedule, non-conference schedule now coming to a close. We talked about it with Coach Payne, the conference schedule just around the corner. Overall, how do you feel about the team? And then we'll talk about some of the specific games heading into conference play.
Yeah, we're competing, we're playing hard, and I'm kind of happy where we are. I mean, we still got to continue to work hard and get better each day, but not bad. We're 8-6 right now, so we're happy with that.
8 wins through the non-conference. Got one more opportunity to pick up a non-conference win on the road at Furman, as we'll discuss. But before we get to what's ahead, let's look back at your most recent game here in a very friendly place, the confines of the Hodge Center. You win your 11th straight dating back to last season in a big victory over Norfolk State, the other Spartans.
Yeah, just really happy with my team and the way we played. We struggled. We kept grinding it out. Wasn't a very pretty game to watch, but we found a way to win. At the end, we kind of opened it up a little bit, but they just kept grinding and grinding and grinding. Showed a lot of toughness. We didn't shoot the ball very well and missed some free throws and those kind of things, but we just kept grinding and found a way to win at the end and open it up a little bit.
Schematically, you saw something a little different early. Walk us through what gave you some problems in that first half.
We just, we hadn't seen man in a long time. A lot of people have been playing us a zone, so it was kind of, it was good to see it, but we obviously were a little bit rusty with the man, and they did a good job of helping off some of our players and trying to take away our strength. But again, we just kept grinding and found a way to win.
This team seems to have almost an internal clock, at least here at home, of when it's time to kick it up a notch. You do that in the middle of the second half again and pull away when it counts.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we could. Again, that's the thing where we want, as a coach, we want to play 40 minutes. We're only playing, second half or whatever. But we got to put 2 good halves together, especially as we end non-conference and get ready for conference. Obviously, conference is tough, and everybody knows you inside and out. So we got to put 2 halves together, and that's what we're trying to get to.
It was a good test for you as you get ready to close out your non-conference schedule. You've got one more big test in the Furman Paladins coming up. Break down that game for us.
Very good team. They had a lot of success last year and got a lot of their same people back, and I think they're like 10-5 or something like that. But they play very well at home. I think we were the only team that beat them there last year, and they had a very good season. Went on to play in the women's NIT, and again we struggled a little bit on the road this year. So we got to find a way to win, and this will be a good challenge for us as we head into conference play.
Your home success has more than balanced that out, and you get to open the conference play at home. Your conference season starts against Kennesaw State next Saturday. How about that ball game?
Just taking one at a time. We're looking forward to obviously getting conference started, and obviously starting here where we've had a lot of success. But we just got to take it one day at a time right now. And my focus right now is on Furman and trying to send us off into a positive note into conference play.
With conference coming, those are the games that are really critical. You're fighting for the championship there, a spot in the NCAA tournament if you can get pretty good seeding in your tournament and then work your way through it. How do you approach those games, if any differently than your non-conference games?
Well, you really can. It's just, again, it's another game. You got to be ready to play no matter who you're playing. And obviously it does matter a little bit more. There's a little bit more pressure on it, but you just got to come out ready to play every night at this level. I mean, people want to win, and that's just every night you got to be ready to go. And no matter who you're playing, whether it's non-D1 or whoever, conference or whatever, you just got to be ready to play. And that's key.
We look forward to seeing your team back here next Saturday. Certainly you can keep an eye on everything that happens at Furman at upstatespartans.com. Thank you for your time, Coach. All the best this coming week.
Thank you.
Conference play is just around the corner. How quickly is the non-conference season going by? We'll talk a little more about what's ahead for all the Upstate athletic programs on the other side of the break. You're watching Center Court.
People know you and they get to know you on a personal level and they know your abilities.
And this is really a place where I have seen, and I mean this is a place where I've seen students come here and really try to figure out who it is that they are.
Is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? And I think every college kid go through that. But being here at Upstate and being a part of so many different programs, I know what my purpose is. And I can say that with confidence.
You don't get lost in the crowd at Upstate.
USC Upstate is a place where people can discover themselves.
Welcome back to Center Court. It's now time for us to go inside the game with Coach Eddie Payne. And Coach, you mentioned Ty Green and his leadership a little earlier in this broadcast. Talk a little bit about what a player like Ty Green brings to the table for a team such as yours.
Well, he brings talent. He had 26 points against Hampton. He really lifted us when we were struggling. Got off to a real poor start in that game. He's gotten better off of penetration. He's using his dribble better and more effectively. He leads us in steals. He's a little sneak out there. He never stops moving. The matchup gives him some freedom to freelance a little bit, and he's really, like I say, a sneak. He'll try to hide behind somebody, and they may not see him. He'll jump in front of them, and it's amazing how many times he's done that. But in the Hampton game, he really stepped up when our team was struggling, and had a terrific game. 10 for 11 from the free throw line, and shot 50% from the field. Didn't turn it over. Had 26 points. So he's done. He probably seemed like he did more in that game because some of the other players struggled, but he's fairly consistent with what we've seen of him this year. He's been exceptionally good.
Well, and you talk about Ty, you go back to that game against Hampton, certain moment in that game early where your team was struggling to find the bottom of the net. He comes up with a three-point play that turns into a four-point play as he was fouled and made the free throw. Just a few moments later, he drives the lane, puts up a bucket inside, gets the and one opportunity, and knocks it down. His play seems to be so timely for you.
Yeah, and that's what good, big-time players do. They step up when you need them to, and your descriptions of the events essentially change the momentum of that game. And it was at that point we began to stretch out a lead that went, I think, to 13 at halftime. So, you got to give Ty a lot of credit, and we've got him for about 15 more games or so. We're really going to hate to see those 15 in, but we know what we're hopeful for what he can do and what our team can do in the latter part of the season.
With 15 more games to play, you've been a little banged up, which takes us to our Spartanburg Regional Sports Medicine injury report. Fred Miller looked to be okay in the minutes he was able to get against Hampton. I know you've had a couple other players with some nicks and bruises. Walk us through the health of your team.
Well, Fred had a bad ankle sprain at Mississippi State, and it's hindered him. He hadn't done a lot of practice, but he played and he was effective against Hampton, and I like him better slowed down. He's slower, he's not trying to do as much, but he's very effective at distributing the ball. You asked about a play. There was a play in the first half when he got the basketball on a semi-long rebound and threw a 40-foot pitch-ahead pass, and I think that's the play you talk about. He had an and one. that was a play set up by a pass, a really nice pitch ahead pass by Fred. He's better at that than anybody on our team. And when he's in there, things flow better. His ankle is still probably 80 to 85%, and hopefully by the time the game against Kennesaw opens up the conference season, he'll be 100%.
In so many ways, Coach, the moment that we've been waiting for has arrived as conference play is here. These are the games that really count to fight for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament. It begins with a home game against Kennesaw State, a men's-women's doubleheader this week, and then you go on the road to Lipscomb. Break down those first two games for us.
Well, Kennesaw has a lot of players returning, is an improved team. But kind of strange. I mean, they've had a couple really good wins, and then they've had a couple games where they've fallen flat. And you read the score, and you're wow, what happened there? So that's makes for a difficult assessment of a particular team because you're not sure who you're going to see when they show up. So we'll obviously try to prepare for the good Kennesaw team, and but they have been very inconsistent. And then Lipscomb is going to test us because they stretch the floor and they shoot the perimeter shots very well, and so that's going to be a challenge for this defense. So, and there's you go through the conference year and every game presents a different challenge. The teams are more familiar with one another and more prepared, and it's tougher to win. So we have a pretty balanced league, so it's going to be a really exciting year.
You don't have a lot of control about how your schedule lines up, but are you glad you're going to be tested right out of the gate?
I think whoever you play tests you in conference play. It doesn't really matter. So, we'll just have to be ready.
The one thing that you have going for you that I think is going to be interesting to watch as we roll into conference play, these teams the first time through are going to be seeing your matchup defense for the first time. Talk a little bit more about how it has fared in the non-conference portion of the schedule.
Well, it's fared well. It's been good. Our team's shooting percentages have been low. The only team that really shot the ball better than they normally do was Memphis, and they shot the ball in that game better in all three categories, from the field, from beyond the arc, and from the free throw line. Everybody else, we held them below their season averages. One thing I mentioned earlier, we hadn't rebounded as well, so it's been a good thing, and these teams will prepare for us. There are no secrets. You don't sneak up on anybody. You can look at any game in the NCAA that's played on any date, even back years and years and years. So, you got all these assistants running around compiling notebooks on every team, and so it boils down to being able to execute out here on the floor.
Film is a coach's best friend, and there's plenty of it out there these days.
Oh, there's a ton of it.
We're going to begin the conference season with, as I said, a men and women's home doubleheader on Saturday. Make plans to be in the Hodge Center. Pack it out. It should be something as we roll through what we expect to be a memorable and exciting 2015 conference slate. Thanks for your time, Coach, and all the best as you head into conference play.
Thank you very much.
And now we've reached the point in the show where you cast your votes. Will Josh Cuthbertson and his three-pointer reign supreme as the top play for another week, or will this dunk from Ty Green in the Montreat contest unseat him? That's up to you. Just tweet to CC Top Play at Upstate Spartans as your location. When you tweet the hashtag CC Top Play, make sure you indicate in your tweet either that you're going with Cuthbertson or Green, and we'll see who survives another week. That does it for our inaugural 2015 edition of Center Court, Upstate Basketball Insider. Thanks for taking time to visit with us, and we look forward to having you next Wednesday night as we see how things begin on the conference slate for both the men and women here on Center Court, Upstate Basketball Insider.